Hi, I'm John Everts from California Leasing, and this is This Week in Real Estate. I'm super excited because we have Michelle Alonso from Remax Gateway, and we are going to chat about investing in multifamily real estate in the Los Angeles area.
Yes.
Something that's super fun to talk about.
It is super fun, and if you like numbers, it's absolutely kind of geeking out into the world of math.
Yeah, for sure. So, man, where do we start? I'm thinking like someone who maybe has owned some real estate that they're renting out, but they want to make the leap to multifamily. What does that look like? What's different between a house or two houses and a 15-unit apartment complex?
So it might sound a little bit scary to own a property with multiple doors, but in reality it's actually a better option for you than owning multiple properties in different locations, right? Because then you can just manage one property with multiple doors and collect rent in one, let's say, one building.
Yeah. And you have one roof for however many doors instead of a separate roof
instead of
for each
separate,
door.
and you don't have to worry about going through different locations, especially if you're going to try to manage that yourself, if you're looking at something smaller scale. And it's actually quite simple, right, to jump from your single-family residence into multifamily residence. It's really not that much of a difference in terms of the financing.
Okay.
And in terms of just getting your feet wet versus jumping right into the waters, right? So it's not too bad. Basically, it's the same type of lending, almost the same type of lending, but you actually have another utilization of a different type of loan where you can use the DSCR loans. And
so
those are great.
I mean, I don't know that everybody knows what that term means, so you have to tell us what that means, because this is... If you own a single-family home and you just call your lender, they might not know that term. They might not know multifamily financing, even though it's similar.
Yeah.
So what makes it different?
So with DSCR loans, a debt service ratio, DSCR, debt service, what's
I don't
the
remember
C?
the C is for.
I know, we'll have to come back to the C, but it's the debt service ratio. Basically, whatever income you're getting out of the property that you're financing is being utilized to qualify. So let's say that the property loan is $10,000 a month, just for simple math, and you're getting $7,000 in rent, so there's only a gap of $3,000. So they're able to use that $7,000 rent to a specific ratio depending on your income to be able to qualify and use those rents to help pay for the mortgage.
And then what do? You just, if there's a short, you just adjust the down payment so that you get
a little bit
on
more
the debt service.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's how I understood those too. So to me, that's a way better way to lend on investment property than a traditional loan. But
yeah, because if you're going to purchase a property, let's say you buy another house in your portfolio, you have to qualify for that some way, and I think they only take 75% of the rental income on that.
That's
so
if it's rented long enough, or if it's professionally managed, or if.
There's a lot of ifs. So to get yourself into the multifamily spectrum, it's actually sometimes a little bit easier than buying another house, so to speak, or a single family resident, or a condo, or a townhome.
So I want to bring something up, because I always tell clients, don't hire a realtor to do property management. Hire a property manager, because that's what they do.
100%.
In this case, what I want to say about you is, if you're going to get into multifamily, hire an agent who knows multifamily purchasing, not an agent who specializes in owner-occupied. Yeah. And I know you wouldn't say that, because I know you don't want to toot your own horn necessarily, but this is a big deal. So maybe tell us what you look at that's different when you're analyzing a 10-unit apartment complex versus a single-family home for somebody to move into.
So there's a lot that goes into it when you're looking at the numbers and the data, statistics, or if so to speak, but you want to take a look at the cap rate first before getting into a property. Make sure that it's making enough money.
So here's another term. We have DSCR loan, now we have cap rate. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about cap rates, because if I haven't purchased a multifamily building yet, I might not even have heard that term. Like, we don't use that in single family investing.
That's true. Cap rates is typically what we would use to classify property, so to speak, or kind of that building, whether or not if you need to put in more capital or how much return you get out of that capital is what you want. A good cap rate would probably be 5% and above. Sometimes if you get a stellar deal, it's amazing, and you can maybe get a 7% cap rate.
Yeah.
Anything, I think right now, because where loans and lending is at, it's a little bit more difficult to get anything under 5%.
Well, it's still competitive.
It's still competitive, though, because people are still buying properties that are under 5%. I just had one in my inbox tell me, hey, like, we got a loan approved at 3.5% from Chase, so of a cap rate. So that's
3.5% cap rate got approved.
which is mind boggles me.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'm surprised that even happened, right? So because that means that the capital investment needed there had to be quite substantial, and the rental incomes may have been low. So you may have to put in a little bit more money, but for a lender to do something like that, it is high risk. So you want to make sure that when you're looking into these cap rates,
Well, Chase doesn't do high risk either,
I know
so
Chase does not do high risk.
They analyze that one.
Yeah,
at
so there
3.5%.
must be something about either that location, that building, or whatnot.
Yeah.
It was a newer building, so
Okay.
maybe that is one of the factors.
Okay.
Growing, it was a growing city. I think it's in Marietta.
Okay.
So there's a lot of factors into considering when you're looking at multifamily, right? Not only do you want to look at the rent roll, you want to look at the capital investments you have to put in there.
Yep.
What is the structural kind of stand of that property? Meaning, is the plumbing in place
Right.
really well, or do you have to
Does
put
it have to
money
be
in there?
rewired? Does it have to be repiped? Do you have to
Yes.
replace all the toilets?
The
Like,
retrofitting,
Yeah.
right? If it's
Yeah.
more than 2 or 3 floors, depending on where you're at. But at the same time, on other aspects of this, California does do a cap of 10% on rent increases, so you could potentially see a big upside once you do a lot of these investments or capital investments into the property, where you could potentially increase the rent for one of these tenants up to 10%.
Right.
Certain
That's
cities,
the statewide. Yeah,
Yeah.
different cities have different regulations, but I think even the strictest cities, if you do it right, you can actually pay to relocate a tenant, remodel, and then re-rent
And then
at
re-rent.
market, right?
Yes.
So, Michelle, I really want to come back to the importance of someone who's trying to buy an apartment complex, working with a professional who knows what they're doing. Now, again, I know you're not going to brag, but you told me before what your credentials are. I'd like for you to share, like, what makes you the professional that people should work with to purchase.
Oh, thanks, John. So I do have a background in corporate finance for multiple years. I was working side by side with VPs looking at portfolios, actually. So I do have that extensive background in corporate finance.
Yeah, that's huge experience.
Yeah, we actually acquired many real estates actually while I was there with them.
Okay.
And I was in that role for about 8 years.
Okay.
And then I moved over to real estate. I did graduate at UCLA with a math econ major.
Awesome.
And now I'm finally, that saying that you never utilize your degree for your
Yeah, right.
job? I'm actually finally
Using
it, right? And it feels wonderful, because then when I do have the conversations with my clients in regards to these data, it makes me feel like, oh wow, I'm actually giving them value, and I'm actually utilizing that $80,000 degree, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and look, I can't emphasize this enough. Commercial is different than residential. Commercial would be defined as any apartment complex with 5 units or more. It is a totally different set of laws, right?
Yes.
And so that's why it's so important that they have somebody like you who understands those laws to go in, because we're not going to do nightmare stories today. Maybe we'll do that on a different episode.
Yeah,
but
it's not always, roses and sunshine, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, Southern California real estate, we were talking about this earlier, is amazing. And you should definitely get your money into it. Multifamily is lucrative, but it does come with a different set of knowledge and risks that you have to be able to mitigate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you need somebody that knows what they're doing. So
Yeah,
hopefully you'll give me a
absolutely.
call.
For sure. Again, Michelle Alonso, Remax Gateway. If you've been thinking about your first apartment complex, work with someone like Michelle who's going to be able to help you with that. And I had so much fun today. Thank you for
Thanks.
coming on.
All right.
We're definitely going to do it again, right?
Yes,
So that's
absolutely. Let's do part 2.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty details next time.
Yeah.
But this has been This Week in Real Estate.